Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
Let's talk about hope. You know, I used to really despise the word hope. And let me share with you a story as to why that is. It sounds funny, right? You're like, how could you not like hope? Like, who are you? Who doesn't like hope, right? And I remember hearing Tony Robbins, who I read his books in my early mid-20s, listening to a lot of his, this is dating me, cassette programs, tape programs, like coaching programs, and then later CDs, And I remember the story he had about hope and how he, that it was, I can hear him saying too, I hope. In other words, downplaying hope when that is kind of like your go-to. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, well, I hope this happens, but there's nothing that's done. There's no action. There's no thoughts. There's no energy that's invested into moving towards the thing that you really want or you're feeling drawn to. And you just go, I just hope it happens. Right? It's the same reason where I used to poo-poo a lot of people with prayer and God and religion and spirituality, which is I thought that faith was about saying, it's so funny the way that I say this now. It's like, well, that is the way it is. Let me just place this in the hands of God because God will do what God needs to do. And I'm just kind of like playing this role and like, what I know now to be true for me about spirituality, God, higher power source and all that is that that's actually very quite true. However, there are things that you can do that move you towards. You don't just, it's the reason why I often would kind of like crap on vision boards. It's like, what do? You're just going to put that up there and just go, I hope that house shows into my life? Like, no, you have to put action behind that, right? So the word hope for me for the longest time was like, it's like a junk word. Hope. Don't hope something happens. Fucking make it happen. Like, that was my belief at the time. You can even go back to old episodes. It's so funny. I have people that when they find the podcast, I just go, I start listening to old episodes. I'm like, oh, okay. You're going to think I'm like really contradictory because of the evolution of me, because of what I've now known to be true. What's truer for me is I'm becoming someone more of who I am. Just maybe put it that way, remembering who I truly am. Softer, a lot more of my feminine, less of the anger, even more intuition. And I think of the word now, hope. And I go, there's actually a lot of power in that word. So maybe I'll call this episode that, the power of hope. Right now, I'm going through something incredibly difficult that I cannot share with you. And, it's not really necessary for the purpose of this episode, but just know it comes from that space of really understanding the power of this now. And that when it comes down to it, whether it is, God, what is really meant for you, destiny, luck, opportunity, other people's decisions and choices, hope is truly all that we have. It's all that we have. And I think behind hope can be a very, very powerful intention. It can be a very powerful, the word comfort comes to mind. This is more like a grounding. When it feels like the ground underneath you is trembling and shaky, and or you don't even recognize it as it is, hope is what you do have. Hope is like the little layers of, when they in cities when they'll tar a road, right? That's kind of like bumpy and there's holes in it maybe, or cracks and that kind of thing, and they'll seal it, right? It kind of acts as like a sealant. And I think the reason why this is to smooth things out, right? And so see hope as that. Hope is a way to smooth out the ground underneath you that feels so cracked and broken. Now, will hope get you exactly what you want? Maybe, maybe not. Will hope just be the only thing that brings, whatever that thing is that you're longing for or striving for or wanting to be into your life? Maybe, maybe not. But to me, your options are hope or dropping into the pit. Hope or getting caught up in what ifs and past and present and running all these scenarios through your head. Your options are hope or insanity. Really making yourself crazy with all the stories and the yarns that you're spinning inside. So I publicly pronounce and renege my previous beliefs. That's what I knew to be true at the time, right? You have the permission to change your mind anytime you want or to see something different. I see that differently now. I see hope as the thing that you can hold on to when it feels like everything's falling apart. There is hope. There is hope. So, your more tip for today. Yeah. I want you to listen to this episode 2 more times. That's your more tip for today. That although there's not a lot of words, a lot of time in this episode, what I feel is that there's something for you to hear. And it's not from the first go around. So, this podcast episode is about 1/3 of what I normally put out. So there you go. Listen to this 2 more times. You can do it right now. You can do it over the next couple of days, the next few weeks, but listen to this podcast 2 more times because I do believe there's something powerful for you to hear in this message. So, sister, finishing up 2 things. If you would like to receive one of the last Women Want More limited edition journals, head over right now for free, by the way. You take care of a little bit of shipping. I do all the rest. Head over to drkarenosborne.com/free journal. And to receive the Women Want More newsletter, be part of the tribe, head over to drkarenosborne.com/action guide. So I will talk to you in the next episode, sister. A life of more is really understanding the power of hope in your life every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosborne.com/newsletter.